Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 17. Does anyone remember what section we are at?
Narad Muni, Sukhdev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj. No, here it's
That's the
Narad Muni.
evening.
Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
the evening.
the morning. It's the Narad Muni
Yeah,
telling
that's right.
telling Sutta
Yeah,
Goswami, Sukhdev
yeah,
Goswami.
Narad Muni,
Sorry,
Narad
tell
Muni is telling to Vyasadeva.
yeah,
Because
Vyasadeva. Sorry,
because Vyāsadeva was feeling some kind of dissatisfaction, and so Narada Muni has been telling him that you have not described directly the glories of the Supreme Lord. You know, you've described so much Vedic literature, people are going to get really confused as to what is the goal of life. They will not know what you are trying to actually tell them. What's the goal? Yatva swadharmam charanam bhujam hare.
Yaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam hare.
Vajan apakvo tapate tato yadi.
Bhajan apakvo athapate tato yadi.
Yatra kvavabhatramabhut amusyakim.
Yatra kva bhadram abhud amusyakim.
Kovartha apto bhajatam swadharmataha.
Kovarta apto bhajatam swadharmataha.
Someone like to read?
Yeah, I can read.
Yeah, please.
One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. Purport. As far as the duties of mankind are concerned, there are innumerable duties. Every man is duty bound not only to his parents, family members, society, country, humanity, other living beings, the demigods, etc., but also to the great philosophers, poets, scientists, etc. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one can relinquish all such duties and surrender unto the service of the Lord. So if one does so and become successful in the discharge of his devotional service unto the Lord, it is well and good. But it so happens sometimes that one surrenders himself unto the service of the Lord by some temporary sentiment, and in the long run, due to so many other reasons, he falls down from the path of service by undesirable association. There are so many instances of this in the histories. Bharat Maharaj was obliged to take his birth as a stag due to his intimate attachment to a stag. He thought of this stag when he died. As such, in the next birth he became a stag, although he did not forget the incident of his previous birth. Similarly, Chitraketu also fell down due to his offenses at the feet of Shiva. But in spite of all this, the stress is given here to surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, even if there is a chance of falling down, because Even though one falls down from the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. Once engaged in devotional in the devotional service of the Lord, one will continue the service in all circumstances. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that even a small quantity of devotional service can save one from the most dangerous position. There are many instances of such examples in history. Ajamil is one of them. Ajamil in his early life was a devotee, but in his youth he fell down. Still, he was saved by the Lord at the end.
So here Narad Muni is saying that even if one begins devotional service, one is unsuccessful, yet he has gained everything. There's no danger. Krishna says the same thing. Then even little bit of devotional service, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, even one is engaged in little devotional service, it can save one from greatest type of fear. We were reading about this in the morning, no? That how Krishna protects the devotees. Here, Srila Prabhupada is giving again the example of Bharat Maharaj, how Krishna protected Bharat Maharaj, Ajamil, Chitraketu. We are going to hear about him soon coming up. Chitraketu. So Krishna always protects. Even little devotional service can save one. On the other hand, Narad Muni is saying, a non-devotee, he may be doing everything else perfectly. All his other duties, occupational duties, rites, rituals, everything he's doing, but he does not engage in devotional service. He does not gain anything. Why? Because materially he may gain. Materially he may go to the heavenly planet or get a lot of opulence. But after some time, that will finish. That's why it said it doesn't gain anything. Whereas devotional service is spiritual. So it is eternal. The benefits of the devotional service are eternal. How much ever progress one makes in devotional service in the next life, we begin from there. It's never lost. Did anyone want to add anything? Any particular pastime you'll remember or want to share?
Even Ambarish, right? Maharaj, he was
Yeah,
saved.
Krishna protects him, but he doesn't fall down though.
Okay.
He's
He
perfected.
was he was cursed, I think, by Durvasa Muni, right? I mean, he was correct.
Durvasa Muni was trying to curse him. Yeah. Yeah, of course. That Krishna's protection in that pastime, yeah, of course. It's really very evident. Here is specifically Narad Muni saying that one may begin devotional service and may stop it for some reason. Yet he does not lose anything because
Right.
he begins from there.
Yeah, you won't lose anything.
He
Right.
won't lose. Like Ajamil, he was a devotee beginning. Later he stops his devotional service. But at the end of life, somehow or the other, he speaks out, he says Narayan, because
Mm,
he's actually calling his son. So he gets the benefit.
right.
So this is what Narad Muni is saying, that Jar Bharat, he became a deer, but he did not forget his devotional service.
Right.
What comes to my mind is the pastime of Bilva Mangal Thakur. That in his past life he was a great devotee. Somehow or the other, he's in association with Chintamani, the prostitute, and how, he takes up again devotional service so strong, so staunch. So because, we may begin something, like suppose we want to do anything we begin in, material we begin in this life. But the effect cannot last. This is what we are trying to understand, that the results of devotional service are eternal.
Right. Even in your next life, it will be there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. That's what Nārada Muni is telling Vyāsadeva.
Right.
Material, see, when we start studying ABC again, we have to start studying from the beginning. We can't say, oh, past life I did masters, so this life I'm not going to study.
Exactly. Right.
But devotional service, no, can begin from where we left off.
It carries
So
forward.
Krishna,
Okay.
yeah, this is the point that Nārada Muni is saying. And Krishna says the same thing to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. It can save one from the greatest type of fear. Tasyeva heto prayateta kovido
Tasyeva hito prayateta kovido
nalabhyate yad brahmatamapari adaha.
na labhyate yad brahmatam upari adaha.
Labhyate dukhavad anyata sukham.
Tat labhyate dukkhavan anyata sukham.
Kalena sarvatra kabira ramhasa.
Kalena sarvatra kapiraram asa. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet Brahmalok down to the lowest planet Patal. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. Every man everywhere is trying to obtain the greatest amount of sense enjoyment by various endeavors. Some men are busy engaged in trade, industry, economic development, political supremacy, etc. And some of them are engaged in fruitive work to become happy in the next life by attaining higher planets. It is said that on the moon the inhabitants are fit for greater sense enjoyment by drinking somras, and the Pitralok is obtained by good charitable work. So there are various programs for sense enjoyment either during this life or in the life after death. Some are trying to reach the moon or other planets by some mechanical arrangement, for they are very anxious to get into such planets without doing good work. But it is not to happen. By the law of the Supreme, different places are meant for different grades of living beings according to the work they have performed. By good work only, as prescribed in the scriptures, can one obtain birth in a good family, opulence, good education, and good bodily features. We also we see also that even in this life one obtains a good education or money by good work. Similarly, in our next birth, we get such desirable positions only by good work. Otherwise, it would not so happen that two persons born in the same place at the same time are seen differently placed according to previous work. But all such material positions are impermanent. The positions in the topmost Brahmalok and in the lowest Patal are also changeable according to our own work. The philosophically inclined person must not be tempted by such changeable positions. He should try to get into the permanent life of bliss and knowledge, where he will not be forced to come back again to the miserable material world, either in this or that planet. Miseries and mixed happiness are two features of material life, and they are obtained in Brahmalok and in other lokas also. They are obtained in the life of the demigods and also in the life of the dogs and hogs. The miseries and mixed happiness of all living beings are only of different degree and quality, but no one is free from the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. Similarly, everyone has his destined happiness also. No one can get more or less of these things simply by personal endeavors. Even if they are obtained, they can be lost again. One should not, therefore, waste time with these flimsy things. One should only endeavor to go back to Godhead. That should be the mission of everyone's life.
So Narad Muni is telling to Vyasadeva, because Vyasadeva has written the Vedas, which is dealing a lot with this. A great section of the Vedas is dealing with the karma kand, doing pious work, doing rituals to go to the heavenly planets. So now Narad Muni is telling to Vyasadeva that, yeah, by doing good karma, yes, one will go to the highest planet. And then, similarly, by doing bad karma, we will go to the lowest planet, Patal. Right? So, misery and mixed happiness, because our happiness is not completely pure happiness here. There's always a lot of endeavor involved. And still, there will be something, it won't be completely blissful on the material platform. So Narad Muni is saying that, yeah, by karma, people will go to the Brahmalok, will have some kind of misery, some kind of happiness. Again, by karma, people will go to Patal, which is the lowest planet, will have some kind of misery, some kind of happiness. But people who are actually intelligent should not endeavor for only this thing, because it's still temporary. It's gonna come, it's gonna go. Krishna says himself in Bhagavad Gita that the temporary appearance and happiness of the temporary appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress are like summer and winter seasons. So one should tolerate them. Krishna says that in second chapter. So Prabhupada is saying, even if we go to higher planets or lower planets, still the law of karma is there. How we are acting, we are going to get the result. But one should act in such a way to get out of this temporary place. Go to the spiritual world. Acting to get out of this material world, because our position here in the material world is temporary. Sometimes in Brahmalok, sometimes in Patal Lok. So one who's intelligent, in fact, works to get out of this, to get out of this temporary situation, go back to the spiritual world, back to Godhead. Nave jano jatu kathanchana vrachet.
Nave jano jatu kathan chanar vrajin.
Mukunda sevi anyavad anga samsritim.
Mukunda sevi anyavad anga samshritim.
Smaran mukudangari Upagonam Purna.
Smaran Mukundangri Upaguhanam Anam Punar
Vihartumiche Narasa Grahojana.
Vihatum Ichena Rasa Grahojana. My dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruitive workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. A devotee of the Lord automatically becomes uninterested in the enchantment of material existence because he is ras graha, or one who has tasted the sweetness of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. There are certainly many instances where devotees of the Lord have fallen down due to uncongenial association, just like fruitive workers who are always prone to degradation. But even though he falls down, a devotee is never to be considered the same as a fallen karmi. A karmi suffers the result of his own fruitive reactions, whereas a devotee is reformed by chastisement directed by the Lord Himself. The sufferings of an orphan and the sufferings of a beloved child of a king are not one and the same. An orphan is really poor because he has no one to take care of him, but a beloved son of a rich man, although he appears to be on the same level as the orphan, is always under the vigilance of his capable father. A devotee of the Lord, due to the wrong association, sometimes imitates the fruitive workers. The fruitive workers want to lord it over the material world. Similarly, a neophyte devotee foolishly thinks of accumulating some material power in exchange for devotional service. Such foolish devotees are sometimes put into difficulty by the Lord Himself. As a special favor, he may remove all material paraphernalia. By such action, the bewildered devotee is forsaken by all friends and relatives, and so he comes to his senses again by the mercy of the Lord and is set right to execute his devotional service.
So Narad Muni here, he's saying that, as we just heard in a verse previous to the previous one verse previous, two verses, that little bit of devotional service one does, then the results are permanent. The result is never lost. One may begin devotional service, one may fall down, but Krishna always protects the devotee. One will again come back to devotional service. So here it's kind of same thing that Narad Muni is telling to Vyas, that Krishna, he personally takes care of the devotee. The devotee may somehow get some material desire after some time of engaging in devotional service, but Krishna, he acts in such a way that the devotee will come back to him. Just like we heard in the story of Jar Bharat Maharaj, it was not karma that Bharat Maharaj was undergoing. He was a great pure devotee of the Lord. For a pure devotee, there's no law of karma. It's personally Krishna wanted to just bring him to his senses, kind of. Hey, you're getting too carried away, Come back. Come back to your devotional service. And he realizes As soon as he's in the body of the deer, he realizes, oh my God, what did I do? So this is what Prabhupada is saying, that the orphan and son of a rich man, it may look the same, but the son of rich man, he has his father. His father is protecting him. Similarly, the devotee, Krishna is personally involved in the life of the devotee. Krishna is making special arrangements for the devotee to come back to him sooner and sooner. So Prabhupada is saying that sometimes the devotee, he may have some kind of material desire, but then Krishna may take away everything. So Prabhupada many times, in many places, he writes about himself that, he didn't want to give up his family life. But Krishna took away everything, took away his business, took away his family, his children, everything. And then Srila Prabhupada, he said, okay, now I'm going to follow the instruction of my spiritual master. But actually, Srila Prabhupada was always trying to, even when he was in family life, he was always trying to spread the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. It's not that he was not. He was trying, but of course, after once he gave up completely family life, then full time he engaged in it.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that such fallen devotees are given a chance to take birth in a family of highly qualified brahmanas or in a rich mercantile family. A devotee in such a position is not as fortunate as one who is chastised by the Lord and put into a position seemingly of helplessness. The devotee who becomes helpless by the will of the Lord is more fortunate than those who are born in good families. The fallen devotees born in a good family may forget the lotus feet of the Lord because they are less fortunate, but the devotee who is put into a forlorn condition is more fortunate because he swiftly returns to the lotus feet of the Lord, thinking himself helpless all around.
So Krishna says to Arjuna, because Arjuna asks, what's the destination of the unsuccessful yogi? And Krishna tells him, okay, one who begins devotional service. He engages in devotional service for a short time, but somehow or the other he goes away, not able to complete his Krishna consciousness. Then next birth he gets in family of good Brahmana family or rich business mercantile family, and from there one can carry on the devotional service. But sometimes it may not happen, because when one is in a good position, so then one may get distracted and not be so eager to take up devotional service. So comparatively, when Krishna is putting a devotee in a helpless condition, that devotee will come back faster to Krishna, because he will think himself, oh my God, I have I have nowhere else. I have no one else to turn to. So he will take Krishna's shelter more with more, what we say, surrender, because he completely feels himself helpless. Who can I turn to? So Prabhupada is saying such a devotee is more fortunate, because he will turn to the Lord more quicker. He'll come back to the Lord, sooner than another who may get distracted because he has so much opulence. He's in a rich family, so he may get carried away by other distractions. So the devotee who's put in this kind of a condition, forlorn condition, is more fortunate.
Your devotional service is so spiritually relishable that a devotee becomes automatically uninterested in material enjoyment. That is the sign of perfection in progressive devotional service. A pure devotee continuously remembers the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna and does not forget him even for a moment, not even in exchange for all the opulence of the three worlds.
No pure devotional service. A devotee loves Krishna. So he just wants to be with Krishna. He wants to serve Krishna. He's not at all attracted to the material world anymore. And he's experiencing this kind of happiness. He's experiencing he's relishing great sweetness and engaging in devotional service. Otherwise, he will not do it. We souls, we are always seeking pleasure. So because the pure devotee is experiencing this great pleasure in pleasing the Lord, and that's why he's continuing to do it. He's understood that there is no lasting pleasure in the material world. That's how he's able to continuously engage in devotional service and not care about this material opulence. How we saw Bharat Maharaj, he gave up the great kingdom, the entire world he gave up to engage in devotional service. Or we were speaking of the six Goswamis, how they were in such good positions and they gave it up because they were relishing this happiness and devotional service. Idam hi vishvam bhagavan ivetaro
Idam hi vishwam bhagavan ivetaro
yato jagatsthana nirodha sambhava
yato jagatstana nirodha sambhava
tadhi swayam veda bhavanstatthapite.
taddi
Swayam
swayam
Ved
ved
Bhavam
bhavam
Statapite.
statapiti
Pradeshamatram bhavata pradarshitam.
pradeshamatram
Pradeshamatram Bhavata
bhavata
Pradarshitam.
pradarshitam. Would anyone like to read?
I can read.
Yeah.
Can you hear me properly? No disturbance?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Translation. The Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, is Himself this cosmos, and still He is aloof from it. From Him only has this cosmic manifestation emanated. In Him it rests, and onto Him it enters after annihilation. Your good self knows, your good self knows all about this. I have given only a synopsis. Purport. For a pure devotee, the conception of Mukunda, Lord Sri Krishna, is both personal and impersonal. The impersonal cosmic situation is also Mukunda because it is the emanation of the energy of Mukunda. For example, a tree is a complete unit, whereas the leaves and the branches of the tree are emanated parts and parcels of the tree. The leaves and branches of the tree are also the tree, but the tree itself is neither the leaves nor the branches. The Vedic version that the whole cosmic creation is nothing but Brahman means that since everything is emanating from Supreme Brahman, nothing is apart from him. Similarly, the part and parcel hands and legs are called the body. But the body as a whole unit is neither the hands nor legs. The Lord is the transcendental form of eternity, cognition, and beauty. And thus, the creation of the energy of the Lord appears to be partially eternal, full of knowledge, and beautiful also. The captivated conditioned souls, under the influence of the external energy Maya, are therefore entrapped in the network of the material nature. They accept this all in all, for they have no information of the Lord who is the primeval cause, nor have they information that the parts and parcel of the body, being detached from the whole body, are no longer the same hand or leg as when attached to the body. Similarly, a godless civilization, detached from the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is just like a detached hand or leg. Such parts and parcels may appear like hands and legs, but they have no efficiency. The devotee of the Lord, Srila Vyasadeva, knows this very well. He is further advised by Srila Nārada to expand the idea so that the entrapped, conditioned souls may take lessons from him to understand the Supreme Lord as the primeval cause.
So that Muni is saying to Srila Vyasadeva that you understand completely the supreme absolute truth, that God is a person and the Brahman is the Brahma Jyoti, which is coming from the form of the Lord. So the Lord is both personal and impersonal. Impersonal, why? Because this Brahman is also a Lord, part of the Lord. But if you say the Lord himself, he's a person. Prabhupada is explaining the tree, there's a complete tree. And there's this leaves and branches. They are parts of the tree, so they can be called a tree, but they're not the tree either, the leaves and branches. Or Prabhupada is giving the example of our hands and legs. They are part of the body, so they are called the body also. But they are not the body itself. And when the hand and leg is detached from the body, is different than a hand and leg that is attached. Once a hand and leg is detached from the body, it's thrown away. It becomes useless. One tries to attach it back, but if it's not able to attach, it's thrown away. It becomes useless. Similarly, we condition souls. Although we are parts and parcels of the Lord, but because we have forgotten our relationship with the Supreme Lord, we are not functioning in the way that we need to function. Just as real hands and legs function when they are attached to the body, we can have fully function ourselves only when we attach ourselves again to the Supreme Lord. We revive our relationship with the Supreme Lord. So Narad Muni is telling Srila Vyasadeva that you understand this already, so you explain this.
According to the Vedic version, the Lord is naturally fully powerful, and thus his supreme energies are always perfect and identical with him. Both the spiritual and the material skies and their paraphernalias are emanations of the internal and external energies of the Lord. The external energy is comparatively inferior, whereas the internal potency is superior. The superior energy is living force, and therefore she is completely identical. But the external energy, being inert, is partially identical. But both the energies are neither equal to nor greater than the Lord, who is the generator of all energies. Such energies are always under his control. Exactly. As electrical energy, however powerful it may be, is always under the control of the engineer.
So we say God is omnipotent. So he has many energies, many potencies. The potencies are not, he is the controller of these energies. Although they are his energies, so simultaneous, one and different. They are his energies, so that's why they are identical, sun and sunshine. How one molecule of sunshine will have heat and light also, but not in the same quantity as is coming from the sun planet. So his energies are spiritual and material, is being said. Spiritual is internal energy, material is external energy. internal energy is superior, external energy is inferior. Inferior because she's separated, not conscious. She's not conscious. So, but whether spiritual energy or external energy both belong to Krishna. They are not equal to or greater than the Lord. They belong to Him. They are always under His control.
The human beings and all other living beings are products of his internal energy. Thus, the living being is also identical with the Lord. But he's never equal or superior to the personality of Godhead. The Lord and the living beings are all individual persons. With the help of material energies, the living beings are also creating something, but none of their creations are equal or superior to the creation of the Lord. The human being may create a small, playful Sputnik and may throw it into outer space. But that does not mean that he can create a planet like the Earth or Moon and float it in the air as the Lord does. Men with a poor fund of knowledge claim to be equal to the Lord. They are never equal to the Lord. This is never to be. The human being, after attaining complete perfection, may achieve a large percentage of the qualities of the Lord, say up to 78%. But it is never possible to surpass the Lord or to become equal with Him. In a diseased condition only, the foolish being claims to be one with the Lord and thus becomes misled by the illusionary energy. The misguided living being, therefore, must accept the supremacy of the Lord and agree to render loving service to Him. For this, they have been created. Without this, there cannot be any peace or tranquility in the world. Srila Vyāsadeva is advised by Srila Nārada Muni to expand this idea in the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavad Gita also the same idea is explained. Surrender fully onto the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the only business of the perfect human being.
So Narad Muni is telling to Vyasadeva, you describe the real position of the living entity in relation with God and what the living entity has to do. Krishna is saying, Sarva Dharmam Parityagya. Krishna is saying, surrender. Same Bhagavatam is also speaking of the same thing. Narad Muni is telling, Vyasadeva, you tell people about this because that's the real position of every living entity. That we are not equal to or greater than God. Only God is the Supreme Personality. No one can be equal to Him or greater than Him. All His energies are subordinate to Him. And we, the living beings, although we are also part of His internal energy, we are minute. Because we are part of His internal energy, we are part and parcel of God. We have same qualities of God, but our qualities are minute. And when a living entity, when a soul becomes perfect, liberated, cannot get 100% of God's qualities, only 78%. So God has 64 qualities. Krishna, they're broadly divided as 64. So a liberated living being can get 50 of these qualities. That's why I said 78%. That's in the perfected stage. One can get 50 of the qualities. We right now in our conditioned state, we have it, but very minute, very, very minute. So Narad Muni is telling Vyasadeva, you explain the real position of the living being in relation to God, that no one can be equal to or greater than God. Never can we become equal to God. And that our duty is to engage in devotional service. That is the position of every living entity. We have been created for this. Just like a father, he gets many children. Why? So because he wants to have a relationship with them, enjoy with them. Both are happy. Father is happy, child is happy. We are children of God. So we have to revive our relationship with him, be in that relationship, act in that relationship. So Prabhupada is saying that is the only business of the perfect human being. Engage in devotional service. Any comments, questions?
I just have one question. As you mentioned, the fall down. Will Bhishma Dev will be considered because he went into the group of Duryodhan. He had the association, but definitely because of his bhakti and his service and his love for Krishna, he was always protected. Would it be or no?
I'm not sure if you call it a fall down.
Not exactly a fall
Because he
down. Would it be
doesn't
that
fall. He
time?
Yeah, because it's doesn't say that he stops engaging in devotional service, something, you know.
Mm-hmm. So that's not a kind of a fall down.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, you know, if that can be
Mhm.
considered as a fall down. I'm not
Yeah, even
sure.
I was just because just listening to this today, I just thought that would it be a fall down or not? Like just a curiosity. I mean, I don't know.
No, Bhishma Dev was to give that example because he took the side of the wrong, he took the
Duryodhan.
wrong,
Yeah, wrong.
yeah,
Wrong side. Yes.
wrong
Yes.
side. So then Krishna says, no, you can't do that, you know.
But that wouldn't be a fall down, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, even me. Okay.
I
That's
don't know.
so the fall down would only mean as the example of Jad Bharat Maharaj and you know Bharat Maharaj, right? That
Because
would
he
be the
stopped.
actual fall down.
Yeah. Yeah, because he
And
stopped. Stopped engaging
yeah,
in devotional service.
okay, like a Jamil also. So that is a proper fall down.
Ajamil,
That
yeah. Or
yeah,
Bilva Mangal Thakur, he
Bilwamangal
stopped.
Thakur. Yeah. Hmm.
You know, he stopped. But then
Hmm.
he
Hmm.
picked it up again. They all picked it up again. They
Hmm.
stopped, but they came back again.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Amatmanatmanamavehi amokadrik.
Tvam atma atmanam aveha amoghatre
Narasya pumsa parmatmanaha kalam.
paratyapumsam paramatmana kalam
Ajam prajatam jagata shivayatan.
ajam prajatam jagata shivayata
Mahanubhava bhuyabhyudayodhe kanyatam.
maha anubhava abhudayo adhiknayatam. Translation: your goodness has perfect vision. You yourself can know the super soul personality of Godhead because you are present as the plenary portion of the Lord. Although you are birthless, you have appeared on this earth for the well being of all people. Please, therefore, describe the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, more vividly. Purport: Srila Vyasadeva is the empowered plenary portion devotion incarnation of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. He descended by his causeless mercy to deliver the fallen souls in the material world. The fallen and forgotten souls are detached from the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The living entities are parts and parcel of the Lord, and they are eternally servitors of the Lord. All the Vedic literatures, therefore, are put into the systematic order for the benefit of the fallen souls. And it is the duty of the fallen souls to take advantage of such literatures and be freed from the bondage of material existence. Although formally Srila Narad Rishi is his spiritual master, Srila Vyasadeva is not at all dependent on a spiritual master because, in essence, he is the spiritual master of everyone else. But because he is doing the work of an acharya, he has taught us by his own conduct that one must have a spiritual master, even though he be God himself. Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Ram, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all incarnations of the Godhead, accepted formal spiritual masters, although by their transcendental nature they were cognizant of all knowledge. In order to direct people in general to the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, he himself, in the incarnation of Vyasadeva, is delineating the transcendental pastimes of the Lord.
So Narad Muni is telling Vyasadeva that you are perfect. You are Supreme Lord. You understand. This Vyasadeva, he's an incarnation of Krishna. Narad Muni knows it. Huh? That's why he's saying you are birthless. He's saying that. So he's saying you understand everything. So now you describe the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, directly, more vividly, because still now in any of the works that Vyasadeva has written, he's not glorified Lord Krishna. He's not openly glorified Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Yeah? So here Prabhupada is explaining that Narad Muni, he is an incarnation of God. So only he is capable of writing such transcendental literature. Only he's the one who wrote the Vedas. Why? For our benefit. Everything is for our benefit he's doing. So our real benefit, Narad Muni is telling him, you describe Krishna's glories so that we can revive our relationship with Krishna. We can understand, oh, we have a loving relationship with Krishna, that we need to go back home, back to Godhead, that we are eternally part and parcel of Krishna. We are eternally servants of Krishna. We have forgotten this. So for this reason, Srila Vyasadeva has taken the incarnation. So now Narad Muni is telling him, now you properly describe then, very clearly give a direction to the fallen souls, to the conditioned souls. And Prabhupada is pointing out here that Srila Vyasadeva, although Narad Muni is his spiritual master, but that's just a matter of formality because Vyasadeva is an incarnation of Krishna. So he does not need to receive knowledge from a spiritual master, but he's playing the part properly. He's being an acharya. Acharya means one who teaches by example. Even Sri Krishna, when he comes, he takes a spiritual master, Lord Ramachandra. Whenever God or his incarnation come, they set the example that everyone needs to take a spiritual master so that we can follow the example. That, oh, even Srila Vyasadeva took a spiritual master, then who am I? Then for sure I need one too, Lord Chaitanya himself also accepted a spiritual master. Because they're setting the example. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I set the example because whatever a great person does, ordinary men follow. So, setting the example. And here Narad Muni is telling clearly to Vyasadeva, now you please very openly describe the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna. By hearing which one can get out of this material world, can get liberation. Yeah. Said it is the duty of the fallen souls to take advantage of such literatures and be freed from the bondage of material existence. So we'll stop here. Did you want to add anything?
No, but just to reflect that yes, devotional service is everything, no matter how big or small it is, but it is. And like the easiest one is the chanting, serving, chanting, hearing, reading, in association also. That is also important. So, how again and again we are reminded, even in the morning class, even in this part of, so everywhere devotional service is emphasized. It is emphasized that we should do devotional service and it's never lost.
Yeah.
So, how
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes. That's what Bhagavatam is keeping on reminding us. Mm. Yes,
And the
thank you.
beauty of Bhagavatam is that they talk about the devotees, right? Because we are reading about Bharat Maharaj. He's a devotee. And
Yes.
Narad Muni, he is a devotee also. Vyāsadeva,
Yeah.
he's a devotee also. So it is filled with all the pure devotees.
Yes. Yeah, we read about Dhruva Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prithu Maharaj.
Krishna
Yes, it's
Maharaj.
all about narrations of devotees, devotees engaging in devotional service, devotees glorifying the Supreme Lord. Yes. So it's glorifying devotees, the Supreme Lord, devotional service.
Yeah. Wow.
To remind us that that is our position and that is our true occupation, engaging in devotional service.
Hmm. And I think that if even by reading this, and if just once or even for 5 minutes we engage, that is fruitful. That so that we can love Krishna in those 5 minutes also, then it's really, though we should be doing it every moment, but even if we read in association, and if the 5 minutes we are able to, you know, remember him with love, then that's the devotion service, because
Yes,
he cares for your intention, like what intention you have for him.
yes, yeah. That at least for this time we are
Your
hearing
love.
about Krishna. All the whole day we may be doing other whatever. But at least for this time,
Hmm.
we are we are dedicating it to hearing Krishna's glories, remembering him, glorifying him. Yes, that is what devotional service is. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
And
Gaur
like
Bhakta.
as you also
Yes,
mentioned in Bhagavad Gita once, that no matter what, like no matter what, if you just offer obeisances, even if you offer the obeisances, he gives you the result. Like it is considered as pure
your voice is
devotional
breaking, huh, Neha?
service.
Your
Just
voice is
offer
breaking now.
fruit, small thing, it's gone then. I'm sorry. Okay, Hare Krishna.
But I get I think what you're trying to say is like even offering obeisances, offering fruit flower. Yeah, that's what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Offer obeisances to me, become my devotee, worship me, offer me fruit, flower, water, or a leaf, and I will accept it, offer it with love and devotion. So yeah, simple things. Simple things. Krishna does not expect us to create planets or to move mountains or anything. No. He just wants us to open our heart to Him. For ourselves to Him. Yeah. So thank you so much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.